Tonight, we try something quietly radical, to wake up inside a dream. The room is dark but gentle, a sleep lab that hums like a slow tide. Soft electrodes rest on your scalp, recording the electric whispers of your brain. A red light glows, just enough to feel the space without disturbing it. Scientists have a plan, and you have a secret. We will attempt a conversation with the sleeping mind. Lucid dreaming is the moment you realize, within the dream, that you are dreaming. It's not fantasy, it's measurable. Decades ago, researchers asked dreamers to move their eyes in a specific pattern, left, right, left, once they became lucid. In the dream, you can't move your paralyzed muscles, but your eyes are free. When the signal reached the machines, it was the first confirmed message from inside a dream. Tonight, you are the messenger. We'll follow the science, gently and simply. How sleep unfolds, how the brain creates vivid worlds, how lucidity appears, and how to nurture it without losing rest. We'll explore methods, the neurochemistry of REM, the safety of the journey, and the quiet ethics of tinkering with a private theater. You lie back. A yawn slips out. The AG scribbles its fine handwriting. Somewhere ahead, there is a door in the dark. On the inside of your eyelids, a small plan waits for the moment your eyes begin to dance. The first stage of sleep is a gentle descent, a softening of the edges of consciousness. Your thoughts begin to wander, becoming less linear, more like fragments of pictures and feelings. This is the liminal space between waking and sleeping, where your brain waves slow from the busy beta patterns of alertness to the calmer alpha, and then theta waves. Your muscles relax, your heart rate slows, and your breathing becomes steady. You might experience a sudden muscle twitch, a hypnic jerk, as if you've just missed a step. It's a sign that your body is surrendering to sleep while your mind is still holding on, just a little. From there, you drift deeper. Your brain activity slows further, marked by bursts of rapid electrical signals called sleep spindles and large, slow waves known as K-complexes. These are thought to be protective mechanisms, keeping you asleep by filtering out minor external noises. In this state, you're disconnected from the outside world, a necessary shutdown for the body to begin its restorative work. Your mind is quiet, consolidating memories from the day, pruning away what's unimportant and strengthening the connections that matter. It's a silent, crucial process, happening entirely beneath the surface of your awareness. Then, after about 90 minutes, something remarkable happens. Your brain suddenly becomes highly active, almost as active as when you're awake. Your eyes begin to dart back and forth beneath your closed lids. This is REM sleep rapid eye movement. This is the stage where most of our vivid, narrative-driven dreams occur. While your mind is a theater of vibrant activity, your body is in a state of temporary paralysis, a safety feature called atonia that prevents you from acting out your dreams. This is the world we're aiming for. It's here, in the midst of this paradoxical state, that lucidity can spark. The journey into a lucid dream isn't about forcing control. It's about gentle awareness. It starts with intention. Before you even close your eyes, you plant a seed. You tell yourself, tonight, when I am dreaming, I will remember I am dreaming. This simple affirmation, repeated with quiet conviction, primes your mind. It's like leaving a note for your future, sleeping self. Another technique is the reality check. Throughout your day, you pause and ask yourself, am I dreaming? You might try to push your finger through your palm, or look at a clock, look away, and look back to see if the time has changed erratically. In waking life, the laws of physics hold firm. Your finger won't pass through your hand. The time will progress logically. But in a dream, the rules are fluid. By making this a habit during the day, you increase the likelihood that the habit will carry over into your dream state. One moment, you'll be in some strange dream-like scenario, and that familiar question will surface automatically. You'll perform your check, And when your finger glides effortlessly through your other hand, the realization will dawn. The world around you will suddenly sharpen, colors will become more vivid, and you'll feel an exhilarating sense of clarity. You are here. You are dreaming. This is where our scientific experiment begins. The moment you become lucid, you remember the signal. Left, right, left, right. A simple, deliberate movement of your eyes. To the scientists watching the monitors in the other room, this isn't just a random flicker of REM sleep. It's a message, a clear, intentional communication sent from across the veil of consciousness. It's proof that a dialogue is possible. But for now, the room is still. The humming of the machines is a constant, soothing presence. Your breath is deep and even. Your mind is letting go, drifting through the early stages of sleep, moving towards that hidden stage where the worlds are built. Your only task is to rest, to allow the process to unfold naturally. You've set your intention. You've practiced your checks. Now, you just wait for the dream to begin, and for that quiet, wonderful moment of awakening within it. You are on the threshold. The signal is ready. The dark is waiting. To find lucidity, we first drift into the intricate architecture of sleep. Think of your body as a finely tuned clock, one that is guided not by gears and springs, but by the gentle rhythm of sunlight, the quiet comfort of your daily habits, and a slow, deep ocean of chemicals within. Throughout the day, a molecule called adenosine steadily builds up in your brain. Imagine it like sand piling grain by grain on a quiet shore, a gradual accumulation that brings with it the comforting weight of sleepiness. As daylight fades and evening arrives, another crucial player enters the stage: melatonin. This is your internal darkness hormone, a signal released by your brain that gently invites a sense of quiet and calm to wash over you. It doesn't force you to sleep, but rather opens the door, preparing your body and mind for the journey ahead. It's the whisper that tells your internal systems it's time to wind down, to dim the lights, and to prepare for rest. Sleep isn't a simple state of unconsciousness. It's a dynamic, rhythmic dance. The journey begins in stage N1, a delicate borderland where the world outside begins to fade. Here, structured thoughts start to dissolve, melting into fleeting, dream-like images. It's that fleeting moment when you might feel yourself drifting, a gentle descent into the first layer of rest. From there, you slip deeper into stage N2. If we could see your brain's activity, it would look like a quiet night sky. Your EE would show brief, sudden bursts of fast activity, known as sleep spindles, dotting the landscape like fireflies. And protecting your peace are K-complexes large, slow waves that rise up to hush the brain whenever the outside world tries to poke through, like a distant car horn or a creak in the floor. This stage is where you spend most of your night, a stable harbor of rest. Next, you descend into the profound depths of stage N3, also known as deep, slow-wave sleep. Here, your brain's activity becomes synchronized, pulsing in a powerful, unified rhythm. This is not just idle rest. It's a vital housekeeping process. During this stage, your brain activates its own unique cleaning service, the glymphatic system, which washes away metabolic toxins that have built up during the day. It's also a time of memory consolidation, where your brain diligently sorts through the day's experiences, strengthening important connections and letting go of others. This is the restorative core of your sleep, rebuilding you from the inside out. And then, after reaching this deep valley, something remarkable happens. Your brain flips a switch, and you ascend into an entirely different world. REM sleep, named for the rapid eye movements that occur behind your closed eyelids. Here, dreaming blossoms in full, vivid color. Your internal world becomes intensely active. Your heart might flutter lightly. Your breathing can become shallow and irregular. And the cortex, the thinking part of your brain, lights up with complex patterns that look almost as if you were awake. Yet, Your body remains perfectly still. Most of your muscles are gently silenced in a state called atonia, a protective paralysis that ensures you don't physically act out your vibrant dreams. It keeps you safe in your bed while your mind roams free. We don't just go through these stages once. We cycle through them repeatedly, about every 90 minutes throughout the night. Each cycle is like a journey down a winding staircase and back up again. You fall deeper into N1, N2, and N3, and then rise into the brilliance of REM. In the first cycle of the night, REM sleep is brief, perhaps only a few minutes long. But as the night progresses, these IEEs stretch, growing longer and more immersive, like the slow, beautiful expansion of dawn across a quiet lake. You are drifting down now, through the initial stages, and then rising, tracing the curve of one full cycle. A soft wave is cresting, and the first brief period of REM is just about to arrive. The quietest part of the night begins, yet your brain is anything but silent. This is our REM sleep, rapid eye movement. Even with your eyelids closed, your eyes begin to move, flickering left and right, as if you're reading a story written on the back of your own eyelids. It's a delicate, almost secret announcement that the dream world is taking over. In the animal kingdom, scientists have observed something remarkable during this phase. Powerful electrical bursts they call PGO waves. These waves travel in a sudden precise surge, starting in a deep part of the brainstem called the pons, zipping through a relay station for vision, known as the lateral geniculate nucleus, and finally igniting the occipital cortex at the very back of your head. This is the brain's visual center, and these waves are what spark the vivid, cinematic imagery of a dream. It's like a lightning storm, brewing behind a closed curtain. While we can't see these exact PGO waves in humans with our current tools, we see their close relatives, their cousins. We see the electrical storm on the EEG, the unmistakable signature that a narrative is unfolding within your mind. Almost your entire body is still, held in a state of temporary paralysis called atonia. This is a brilliant safety feature. It keeps you from physically acting out your dreams. Imagine running from a monster in your dream and actually running into your bedroom wall. Atonia prevents that. But there's a fascinating exception. The muscles that control your eyes. They are free. They continue to move, weaving intricate patterns beneath your closed lids, their dance perfectly synchronized with the story you're experiencing. Your heart rate, too, tells a tale. It might speed up during a chase or slow down in a moment of peace, pointing toward the emotional arc of your internal drama. Inside this dreamscape, everything feels incredibly real, sometimes even more real than reality. Sensations are bright, colors are saturated, and emotions are potent. This heightened experience is thanks to a specific chemical cocktail in your brain. A neurotransmitter called acetylcholine is at high levels in the cortex, keeping all the neural circuits buzzing with activity, making the dream vivid and immersive. At the same time, two other chemicals, norepinephrine and serotonin, take a nosedive. These are your brain's reality checkers, the ones that keep you grounded and logical during the day. With them suppressed, your mind is liberated from the strict rules of waking life. Physics can be bent, timelines can be crossed, and the impossible becomes commonplace. This unique neurochemical state doesn't just create dreams. It opens a very special window of opportunity. This is our moment. Before you drifted off to sleep, we made an agreement. We established a code, a simple signal to bridge the gap between two worlds, the waking world of the lab and the inner world of your dream. The agreement was this: if you realize you are dreaming, if you achieve that rare and fascinating state of lucid awareness, you will send us a message. The code is simple. Move your eyes deliberately left, then right, then left again. Here, in the lab, sensitive electrodes placed around your eyes will detect this pattern. They will read it as a kind of Morse code, a signal sent from the other side of consciousness. We will know, in that instant, that the dreamer has awoken within the dream. We will know that the mind inside is now aware of its own state, looking back at us through the veil of sleep. So, what does it feel like to become lucid? It's often not a dramatic, sudden shock. More frequently, it's a moment of calm, gentle clarity. It's a soft recognition that the surreal events unfolding around you have an explanation. You might try to flip a light switch, and it won't work no matter how many times you try. You might read a sentence on a page, look away, and find the words have completely changed when you look back. These are the classic dream signs, the little glitches in the matrix of your mind. And then a thought arises, quiet but unmistakable. I'm dreaming. In the lab, it's a moment of pure anticipation. The EEG machine, tracing the electrical rhythms of your brain, seems to hold its breath. The infrared camera, focused on your face, watches your eyelashes for the slightest tremor, and we wait. We watch for the code we agreed upon left, right? Left a signal, awaiting its chance to be sent. A message from a conscious mind navigating the depths of its own creation. Lucidity, this moment of waking within a dream, doesn't just happen. It arises from something called metacognition, the mind's ability to notice its own state. It's the process of thinking about your own thinking. During an ordinary REM sleep cycle, the prefrontal cortex, that sophisticated region of your brain responsible for planning, questioning, and self-awareness, is resting lightly. It's largely offline, allowing the dream to unfold without interruption or analysis. But in a lucid dream, something extraordinary occurs. Parts of that very network spark back to life. It's as if a quiet supervisor in the control room of your mind, previously dozing, suddenly sits up, looks around, and says, "Wait a minute, where are we?" This flicker of self-awareness is woven directly into the fabric of the dream itself, transforming you from a passive actor into an active observer, or even a director. To put it more simply, your brain is constantly modeling a world. When you're awake, that model is constrained by sensory input and the strict laws of physics. But in sleep, the brain relaxes the rulebook. It lets go of those constraints and begins to write with bold, unrestrained colors, drawing from memory, emotion, and imagination. Lucidity is that profound moment you realize the world you're currently inhabiting, no matter how real it feels, is a story you are telling yourself. This isn't just a fleeting thought. It's a fundamental shift in perspective. You are not just in the story. You are the storyteller. The landscape, the characters, the very air you breathe, it's all a projection of your own consciousness. And with that realization comes a quiet, thrilling sense of possibility. The dream is no longer happening asterisk to asterisk you. It's happening asterisk through asterisk you. Inside the dream, you decide to perform a gentle test. It's a technique you've practiced during the day, a small ritual designed to bridge the waking world and the sleeping one. You lift your hand and pinch your nose firmly, closing your nostrils completely. Then, you try to breathe. In waking life, this action would be met with immediate failure. Your airway would be blocked. But here, in the strange logic of the dream, something else happens. Air flows in, cool and effortless, a soft whisper passing through a barrier that should be solid. It's a fingertip hint from a physiology that isn't really there, a signal that the rules of this reality are different. Another popular test is to look at your hands. You glance down, and they seem strange, just as the experts predicted. The lines on your palms are too deep, shifting like rivers on a map. Perhaps you count your fingers and find there are too many, or they seem to melt and reform. These are reality checks, simple habits practiced by day, so that they might one day bloom in the strange garden of the night. You take another breath, feeling the impossible sensation of air arriving through your pinched fingers. The confirmation spreads through your dream body like ink in water. It's a wave of pure awareness. With this certainty, your senses sharpen dramatically. The dream is no longer a fuzzy, half-remembered narrative. It becomes vivid, hyper-real. You feel the coolness of the floor beneath your bare feet. You notice the subtle texture of the wallpaper in the hallway that surrounds you. Every detail snaps into focus with breathtaking clarity. A door at the end of the hall, which was previously just a vague shape, now glows with a faint, inviting light. The dream world holds its breath, waiting for your next move. This newfound stability gives you a platform, a place from which to explore. The fear and confusion that can often accompany a strange dream dissolve, replaced by a profound sense of curiosity and peace. Back in the quiet, dimly lit laboratory, the line on the monitor quivers. The electrodes attached to your scalp and face are listening intently, translating the electrical storm inside your mind into a visual language. They record the darting of your eyes beneath your closed lids, the signature of REM sleep. The prearranged pattern, the signal you agreed upon with the researchers before you fell asleep, is now just seconds away. It's a simple sequence of eye movements, a message sent from one world to another. You breathe in the dream, feeling the crisp, unreal air fill your lungs. You are aware, you are lucid, and you are ready. Now, standing at this impossible intersection between the dream state and physical reality, you gather your focus. The question hangs in the air, both in the dream and in the lab. Will they hear you? Will your message cross the divide? For millennia, we've treated dreams as sealed-off worlds, their stories only recounted after we wake. A dream was something you had asterisk, a memory to be reported, but never a conversation to be held. But what if that wasn't true? What if the barrier between the waking world and the dreaming mind was more permeable than we thought? This question, once the realm of science fiction, became the focus of daring scientific inquiry. Could we, in fact, communicate with someone while they were dreaming? In laboratories across the world, a fascinating experiment began to take shape. The participants were not just any sleepers. They were individuals trained in the art of lucid dreaming, the ability to become aware that you are dreaming while the dream is still happening. The setup was delicate, the goal profound. As these trained dreamers entered the REM stage of sleep, the phase most associated with vivid dreaming, researchers would introduce subtle cues into their environment. These weren't jarring alarms designed to wake them up. Instead, they were gentle beeps, soft, melodic tones, or even simple math problems spoken in a near whisper. The dreamers had been given a mission before they fell asleep. If they heard these sounds while lucid, they were to respond. But how can you respond when your body is in atonia, a state of temporary muscle paralysis that prevents you from acting out your dreams? The answer lay in the few muscles that escaped this paralysis. The dreamers were instructed to signal back using prearranged patterns of eye movements, left, right, left, or by subtly flexing specific facial muscles, like those used to smile or frown. The results, when they came in, were astonishing and meticulously verified. It was possible. Some lucid dreamers could perceive questions from the outside world and answer them in real time, all without waking up. The communication was simple, but its implications were vast. They could correctly answer true or false questions using the agreed-upon eye movements. They could even perform simple arithmetic whispered to them by the researchers. The sleeping brain, lost in its own intricate narrative, was still listening. It could process external information, make a decision, and send a signal back across the veil of sleep. The conversation had begun. Imagine it for yourself. Tonight, as you drift through the corridors of your own dreamscape, a sound reaches you. It's not loud or intrusive, but a clear, subtle chime. In the lab, it's just a tiny, computer-generated tone played through a speaker. But here, in your dream, it manifests as a small, glinting bell hanging at the far end of the hall, shimmering with a soft light. And then, you remember the instructions from before. A single chime is a question. Are you lucid? Are you aware that you are dreaming right now? The agreed-upon signal for yes is a specific sequence. Move your eyes left, then right, then left again. You focus your dream self, pulling your awareness into a single point of clarity. The dream world around you sharpens. You can feel the cool, smooth stone of the floor beneath your bare feet. The edges of the hallway become crisp and defined. This is not a passive experience. You are present. You are here. Concentrating, you command your eyes to move. Left, right, left. You don't feel your physical eyes move in your sleeping body, but you perform the action within the dream with absolute intention. Back in the waking world, on a monitor displaying your biosignals, the electrodes around your eyes register the precise movement. A line on the graph spikes left, then right, then left. The signal has successfully crossed from the inner world to the outer. A quiet, suppressed cheer might even ripple through the observation room behind the glass. Contact has been made. The dreamer is listening. The researchers, emboldened, decide to send another message. This time, it's not a question, but a task. Through the speaker, a soft voice asks you to count to 6, and then back down to 1, slowly. Within your dream, you begin the count. 1, 2, 3. With each number you think, you signal with your eyes, creating a rhythmic, intentional pattern on the lab's monitors. The team outside follows along, tracking each step of your mental journey. The two-way communication is confirmed, a bridge built between two states of consciousness. Another question is prepared, and within the dream, you lean in, ready to answer. Welcome back. In our journey into the landscapes of the mind, we arrive at a crucial junction: memory. It is here, in the quiet archives of your brain, that the first stirrings of lucidity often begin. Think of your hippocampus not just as a storage unit, but as a masterful storyteller, an archivist that meticulously binds your experiences, your sights, sounds, and feelings into coherent, episodic narratives. It is the part of you that remembers the taste of rain on a summer afternoon, or the specific shade of blue in a twilight sky. This very system is our gateway. By day, we can engage in a simple yet profound practice. We carry a gentle intention, a quiet promise to ourselves. Tonight, when I dream, I will remember that I am dreaming. This technique has a name: Mnemonic Induction of Lucid Dreams, or MILD for short. It isn't about forcing control. It's about planting a seed of awareness. The core idea is elegant. Before you drift off to sleep, take a moment to recall a recent dream. Replay it in your mind. Search for its strange logic, for something that wouldn't quite fit in your waking world. This is what we call a dream sign. Perhaps doors appeared where there were none, or the words on a page began to melt and shift. It could be anything that signals the unique physics of the dream state. Once you've identified this dream sign, visualize yourself back in that dream. See the misplaced door. Watch the text dissolve. But this time, in your visualization, you recognize it. You see it, and you think, "Ah, this is a dream." This act of recognition is the key. As you hold this image, repeat a gentle, simple phrase to yourself. Next time I'm dreaming, I'll know. Say it not with force, but with the quiet confidence of setting an intention. You are embedding a cue, a tiny, glowing reminder for your future self, a prompt for your metacognition, your awareness of your own thoughts to sprout later in the rich soil of your dreamscape. To help this garden of awareness grow, we can turn to another gentle practice: dream journaling. Keep a notebook and pen by your bed. When you wake, before you do anything else, right? It doesn't need to be a full narrative. A few lines will do. Sometimes all you'll have are fragments, a fleeting emotion, a vivid color, a strange sound. Write it down anyway. This simple act sends a powerful message to your brain. I am paying attention. These experiences matter. Over time, your brain learns to hold on to dreams a little longer. Recall becomes easier, more detailed. Patterns begin to emerge from the nightly tapestry, and you become a patient librarian of your own inner world, cataloging its unique wonders. While you sleep, your mind is anything but dormant. This is when memories consolidate. The hippocampus, our diligent archivist, communicates with the neocortex, the vast outer layer of the brain. Together, they work through the day's events. Experiences are rehearsed, edited, and pruned. Emotional strands, particularly those tangled with stress or anxiety, are often rewoven into calmer, more integrated shapes. This is the brain's natural therapeutic process, a nightly act of self-care and organization. When lucidity finally blooms within this process, it feels less like an intrusion and more like a collaboration. You are not storming the castle of your subconscious. You are being invited in. You can then recruit this powerful system of memory and consolidation, not with a shout, but with a whisper. So tonight, as you prepare for rest, consider the notepad waiting by your bed. Feel the potential held within the pen resting beside it. Let your gentle phrase linger in your mind like a soft, fading echo. I will know I'm dreaming. Take a slow, deep breath. Allow a small, knowing smile to grace your lips. Then, let the intention go. Release it without attachment, trusting that the work is done. You don't need to hold on to it tightly. Tonight, you will plant that seed with a single gentle phrase, and then you will simply rest, allowing the quiet, intelligent magic of your mind to do the rest. Breathe, smile, and let it go. Within the natural rhythm of your sleep, there is a simple, yet remarkably effective schedule hidden. It's known as Wake Back to Bed, or WBTB for short. The method is straightforward. After approximately 4 to 6 hours of deep, restful sleep, you allow yourself to awaken for a brief period. During this gentle interruption, you refresh your intention, your quiet desire to become aware within your dream, before returning to sleep. Why this specific timing? It's rooted in our biology. As the night progresses, our periods of rapid eye movement, or REM sleep, naturally lengthen. These are the stages where dreaming is most vivid and frequent. By timing your brief awakening, just before these longer morning REM cycles, you significantly increase the likelihood of achieving lucidity. You are, in essence, positioning your conscious awareness at the very threshold of your most active dream time. Let's explore a calm, gentle way to practice this. You can set a quiet, non-jarring alarm for a time when you often find yourself stirring naturally anyway, perhaps 4 or 5 hours after you've fallen asleep. When you hear its soft chime, rise from your bed and stay awake for just 10 to 20 minutes. The key is to maintain a state of serene drowsiness. Keep the lights in your room as low as possible, just enough to see by. This is a perfect moment to pick up your dream journal. As you read through your past entries, the themes and symbols of your own dream world will come back to the forefront of your mind. While you're up, you can gently repeat your chosen phrase, your mantra for lucidity. Something simple, like I will know I am dreaming. This isn't a forceful command, but a soft, persistent reminder. It's crucial during this time to avoid the bright, stimulating light of phones, tablets, or computer screens. These devices can signal to your brain that it's time to wake up fully, which is the opposite of our goal. We want to let your mind stay close to the shores of sleep, wading in its shallows, not swimming back to the land of full wakefulness. When your short interval is over, lie back down in your bed. Get comfortable. There should be no sense of hurry, no pressure to perform. This entire practice is an invitation, not a demand. It's not about aggressively chasing after dreams or forcing an experience to happen. Think of it more like placing a delicate, handwritten note on the wind and then simply listening, waiting patiently for a reply. It's a practice in subtlety and surrender. And if you feel overwhelmingly sleepy when your alarm sounds, then by all means, skip it. Turn the alarm off, and let yourself drift back into slumber. Rest must always be the priority. The body's need for deep, restorative sleep is paramount. Lucid dreaming is a wonderful skill to cultivate, but it works best when it is approached with kindness and respect for your body's fundamental needs. It is an enhancement to sleep, not a disruption of it. So as you settle back into your bed, begin to notice the gentle rhythm of your breath. Feel the rise and fall of your chest. Trust in your body. It knows this path intimately. It knows the way back to sleep. You carry your intention not as a heavy burden, but like a feather held lightly in the palm of your hand. It's there, but it is weightless. In the quiet of the night, you might imagine the faint hum of laboratory machines, instruments designed to map these mysterious inner landscapes. Outside your window, the city is a vast, sleeping animal, its own collective consciousness at rest. And inside, your own internal clock is winding steadily, ticking toward the next REM cycle, the next opportunity for awareness. Your alarm is set to ring just once, a single soft bell at 4 a.m. With every slow exhale, you can imagine the hallway in your dreams growing a little brighter, a little clearer. The alarm will ring once, a gentle signal in the quiet dark, and the doorway will open. Sometimes, lucidity doesn't have to wait for the dream to begin. It can be invited from the waking side. This technique is called wake-induced lucid dreaming, or WILD. It's a careful, deliberate crossing, a journey where you maintain awareness as your body falls asleep. This isn't a method to be attempted every night. It requires a unique blend of patience, deep relaxation, and a bit of practice. If at any point a process feels anxious or forced, it's a sign to let it go and return to gentler methods. The ultimate goal is never to sacrifice the quality of your sleep for the novelty of a lucid dream. Sleep itself is the priority. So, you begin. You lie still, in a comfortable position, and simply watch as the inner theater prepares its stage. This is the hypnagogic state, the shore between wakefulness and sleep. Fleeting shapes may drift by, sparks of color might flash behind your eyelids, and half-formed thoughts or fragments of conversation can surface and dissolve. The key is to be a passive observer. Imagine you're lying on your back in a field, watching clouds pass overhead. You aren't trying to shape them or hold on to them. You just let them drift. Each breath you take serves as an anchor, a gentle reminder of your presence in this quiet, transitional space. You are here, now, simply observing. As you drift deeper, you might start to notice new sensations. A feeling of floating, as if you're weightless, or a gentle sinking, like you're being lowered into a warm, soft bed. Sometimes, there's a subtle suggestion of vibrations humming through your body, or you might hear faint whispers and distant sounds. These are all perfectly normal transitions. They are signs that your sensory systems are retuning, shifting from external input to the internal world of the mind. Your only job during this phase is softness. Resist the urge to analyze or react. Continue to count your breaths, one in, one out. With this foundation of calm, begin to visualize the dream hallway you've grown to know so well. See its familiar textures, the way the light falls. Picture your dream hands, feeling their presence, their potential. Mentally rehearse the reality check, the pinched nose test, feeling the impossible breath pass through. You are gently seeding the dreamscape, inviting it to form around your awareness. At some point, the fleeting images will begin to stabilize. They coalesce, gaining clarity and persistence. A sound in the dream might suddenly click into place, the distinct creak of a hinge, the soft sound of a footstep on a wooden floor, the clear chime of a distant bell. This is your cue. Step through. If you feel your body become immobile, a sensation often described as freezing, remember what this is. This is sleep paralysis, a natural and harmless sign that REM atonia has set in. Your brain is protecting your body from acting out its dreams. It is not a danger, but rather a confirmation that the gateway is open. Breathe slowly, calmly. Allow the fear to pass, and watch as the dream scene fills in around you, growing more vivid and detailed with each passing moment. You are now standing at the threshold. You reach for the smooth, cool knob of the dream door. You've been here before. The threshold warms beneath your palm, a familiar, inviting sensation. You've practiced this moment, the art of letting go, of surrendering to the dream's flow. You release your grip, expecting to drift forward, to step into the world beyond. And then, something holds you, not a force of resistance, but an embrace. A gentle but firm presence that stops you, not with a lock or a barrier, but with a quiet, knowing stillness. You are held at the very edge, on the cusp of the dream. Welcome back. Let's continue our journey into the chemistry of a vivid world. What is it that makes REM sleep so incredibly vivid? A big part of the answer lies in chemistry. During REM, a neurotransmitter called acetylcholine flows freely throughout the brain, particularly in the visual and associative regions. Think of acetylcholine as the brain's excitability juice. It keeps the circuits buzzing and ready for action. This is why our dreams are often so visually rich and detailed. At the same time, two other key neuromodulators, norepinephrine and serotonin, are dialed way down. Norepinephrine is responsible for vigilance and alertness, keeping us focused on the outside world. Serotonin helps regulate our mood and provides a kind of steadying influence on our thoughts. Without their constant, grounding presence, the brain is set free. It becomes more creative, less constrained by the rules of waking reality. It's like an artist suddenly being told they can use any color they want, without any limitations. This altered chemical balance is what liberates your predictive brain, allowing it to construct and imagine entire worlds from scratch. This is the very foundation of your dreamscape. Adding another layer of intensity is the amygdala, our brain's emotion sentinel. The amygdala can be highly active during REM, which is why dreams can feel so emotionally powerful, whether it's joy, fear, or wonder. Meanwhile, the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, the part of our brain responsible for logic, planning, and self-awareness, usually quiets down. This is why we so often accept the bizarre logic of our dreams without question. But in a lucid dream, something remarkable happens. Parts of this prefrontal network re-engage. It's as if a light of self-awareness switches on within the dream itself. This re-engagement adds a layer of reflection to the boundless imagination of the REM state. You are no longer just a passive observer. You are a conscious participant, aware that you are dreaming. Researchers exploring this phenomenon have observed something fascinating, an increase in gamma band activity during some lucid dreams. Gamma waves are very fast brain waves, oscillating around 30 to 50 times per second. This frequency is often associated with the binding or integration of information from different parts of the brain. It's like the brain's high-speed internet connection, bringing together perception, memory, and consciousness into a single, unified experience. This discovery has led to some intriguing, albeit early, experiments. Some studies have tested a technique called gentle transcranial alternating current stimulation, applying a weak electrical current at this gamma frequency to the scalp. The results? Participants reported more lucidity-like experiences in their dreams. It's important to stress that this is very early science, and definitely not something to be tried at home. The safest, most reliable version for exploring lucidity at home is the trio we've discussed before. Setting a clear intention before you sleep, keeping a detailed dream journal, and minding the timing of your sleep cycles. Imagine yourself now, walking that familiar dream corridor. Soft lanterns hang from the ceiling, casting a gentle, ethereal glow. The colors around you seem to pulse with an inner light, glazed with acetylcholine's varnish. There's a growing sense of clarity in the air, a crispness to your awareness, as if the prefrontal lights are slowly turning up their brightness. Far ahead, at the end of the long hall, a single bell chimes once, its note hanging in the silent air. And on the horizon of your mind, a quiet shimmering band of gamma begins to glow. Can we gently nudge our sleeping minds toward lucidity? In the quest to unlock our dream worlds, we've turned to technology for a subtle tap on the shoulder. Dream masks and specialized apps are designed with a singular purpose: to detect the rapid eye movement, or REM, stage of sleep. They watch for the signature dance of your eyes beneath their lids, or they note the profound stillness of your body that accompanies this phase. Once REM is identified, these devices deliver a gentle cue, perhaps a series of soft flashes of light, or a specific quiet tone. The goal is precision. If timed perfectly, the light might not wake you, but instead weave itself into the fabric of your dream. It could appear as a blinking sign on a distant building, a police car's flashing lights down a city street, or a sudden, beautiful sunrise filtering through your dream curtains. Each manifestation serves as a prearranged signal, a subtle reminder from the waking world. You are dreaming. These are called closed-loop systems. They're designed to be a conversation with your sleeping brain. They listen intently for the signs of deep REM sleep, and then respond with a cue that is just noticeable enough to be perceived, but not so jarring that it pulls you back to consciousness. While light and sound are common, some researchers are exploring other senses. Gentle vibrations, for instance, could translate into a rumble in your dream narrative. Or even more subtly, the use of smell. Olfactory cues are particularly fascinating. A familiar scent can drift into your dream, triggering vivid memory-laden scenes without the risk of waking you. Imagine the smell of freshly baked bread suddenly appearing, transporting you to a dream kitchen, all while the system that delivered the scent remains silently by your bedside. Let's step into the lab for a moment. Tonight, you're wearing one of these advanced masks. It's light and comfortable, but packed with sensitive instruments. It patiently waits, monitoring the tiny, quick movements flickering beneath your eyelids. It detects the telltale pattern of REM sleep and makes a decision. Now is the time. A carefully calibrated sequence of gentle red pulses begins to flash from within the mask. In your dream, you are walking down a long, unfamiliar corridor. The walls are made of dark stone, but something is different. Along the base of the wall, glowing embers begin to appear, rhythmically brightening and dimming in a soft, pulsing rhythm. One, then another, then a whole line of them, like a secret, silent heartbeat guiding your way. They are mesmerizing, but they also trigger a memory, not from the dream, but from your waking life. You remember your training, the intention you set before sleep. When I see the embers, I will look at my hands. You pause in the dream corridor and slowly raise your hands before your face. You look at them closely. The lines on your palms don't stay still. They shift and wriggle like tiny rivers. Your fingers seem to blur at the edges, slightly transparent. A smile spreads across your face. It's that familiar, wonderful softness of recognition, the quiet click of awareness. You are here. You are dreaming. Back in the control room, a scientist monitors the readouts. They note the stable REM state, your heart rate humming along quietly and evenly. The data shows that the cue was delivered, and your brain activity shifted in a way that indicates a change in awareness. The scientist scribbles a note in the log. Cue perceived. Lucidity enabled. The experiment is a success. Outside, the world is dark and quiet, but in here, a small victory for consciousness has been won. The mask, your friendly lighthouse in the sea of sleep, has done its job. It continues its gentle vigil, ready to offer another reminder if needed. In your dream, you look up from your hands, now fully in control of the experience. The glowing embers on the wall fade, their purpose served. You decide to fly. As you rise from the floor of the stone corridor, passing through the ceiling and into the open air above, the mask blinks again, just once. And this time, in the boundless expanse of your lucid dream, the sky itself seems to blink right back in answer. Welcome back to our journey into the mind. In this session, we approach a topic of profound importance: the ethics of our private theater, the world of lucid dreaming. When we step into a dream with awareness, we are not just visitors. We are guests in a deeply personal, sacred space. This inner world is a delicate ecosystem, and lucid dreaming is a powerful tool within it. Like any tool, from a simple hammer to a complex machine, it demands respect and careful handling. It must be used with intention and wisdom. Consider the dreamscape as a training ground. Here, you can practice courage, facing fears in a controlled environment where the stakes are purely psychological. You can flex your creative muscles, building worlds, composing music, or solving problems with a freedom that waking life seldom affords. The possibilities are truly boundless. However, there's a delicate balance to maintain. This training field can, if we're not careful, become a tempting refuge. It can become a place we escape to so often that it begins to steal precious time from our most fundamental need: genuine, restorative rest. The primary rule, the foundational principle we must always return to, is simple: sleep comes first. Your well-being is the priority. Lucid dreaming, and the curiosity that drives it, should always support your health, never compromise it. Think of it as a supplement to your life, not a replacement for its core functions. If you find yourself chasing lucidity to the point of exhaustion, or sacrificing sleep quality for a fleeting moment of dream control, it's a sign to step back, to recalibrate, and to remember that the goal is to enhance your life, not to create a new one at the expense of the old. Your body and mind need deep, uninterrupted sleep to repair, consolidate memories, and prepare for the day ahead. Lucid dreaming should be a gentle passenger on that journey, not the one steering the ship into a storm. Now, let's talk about the matter of influence. When we employ techniques to induce lucidity using external cues, like flashing lights, specific sounds, or even carefully chosen scents, we are actively intervening in the mind's natural processes. Picture yourself as a gardener, tending to a very sensitive, living landscape. Your actions have consequences. You are planting seeds in the soil of the subconscious. Therefore, it is crucial that these interventions, these stimuli, are kept gentle and non-invasive. The goal is to nudge awareness, not to shock the system into compliance. Furthermore, we must be wary of setting rigid, performance-based goals for our sleep. Sleep is not a stage, and you are not an actor who needs to hit every mark. Turning your nightly rest into a quest for lucid achievements. I must become lucid tonight, or I need to fly to a specific destination, introduces pressure and anxiety. This can be counterproductive, leading to what's known as sleep effort, where trying too hard to sleep actually prevents it. Let go of strict expectations. Approach each night with an open, gentle intention, allowing lucidity to arise naturally, if and when it's ready. If you are struggling with persistent nightmares or insomnia, it is essential to recognize the limits of this practice. While lucid dreaming can sometimes offer tools to confront or transform nightmares, it is not a universal remedy or a substitute for professional medical advice. If your sleep is consistently troubled, seeking guidance from a qualified clinician or a sleep specialist is the most responsible and effective course of action. It's also humbling to remember that we are not the first to walk these paths. The exploration of conscious dreaming is an ancient human endeavor, woven into the fabric of cultures across the globe for centuries. In Tibetan dream yoga, or melam, the dream state is not for entertainment, but a profound opportunity to practice continuous awareness and cultivate compassion, recognizing the illusory nature of all phenomena, both waking and dreaming. Ancient Mesoamerican traditions spoke of dreamways, intricate spiritual paths navigated during sleep to seek guidance, healing, and connection with the cosmos. These traditions approach the dream world with reverence, viewing it as a source of deep wisdom. The modern laboratory, with its EEG machines and controlled studies, adds a layer of scientific measurement to this ancient art. We can now map the brain's activity during a lucid dream, validating its existence in the language of science. But the core principles remain unchanged. The heart of the practice is the same as it has always been: cultivating attention, acting with kindness towards ourselves and our inner worlds, and approaching the vast unknown of consciousness with a deep sense of humility. We are explorers, but we are also custodians of this inner space. Imagine yourself now, standing once more in that familiar corridor of your mind. The walls, the floor, the quality of the air, it all feels known, yet subtly different with each visit. As you walk, you sense a change. A passage you have not yet entered beckons. The air grows cooler, crisper, carrying the scent of damp earth and night air. Like the mouth of a cave breathing out into the twilight, you follow this feeling, this pull of curiosity. At the very end of the corridor, a door is waiting. It's a door you have never seen before, a door you have never opened. It stands there, silent and patient, holding the promise of the unknown. Nightmares. They are the stories our brain tells itself when stress is high, when fear remains unprocessed, or when memories are left unresolved. They can be a rehearsal for potential threats, a primitive survival mechanism playing out in the theater of our minds. But for many, they are more than just a rehearsal. They are a relentless loop, a broken record that plays until the morning feels even heavier than the night it followed. This experience can leave us feeling drained, anxious, and fearful of our own sleep. But what if we could change the story? There is compelling evidence that a technique called imagery rehearsal therapy can be incredibly effective. This involves consciously rehearsing a new, preferred ending to a recurring nightmare while you are awake. By repeatedly imagining a different outcome, you are essentially providing your brain with a new script. Over time, this practice can significantly reduce the frequency and intensity of nightmares. It's a way of teaching your mind a new pathway, one that leads away from fear and toward resolution. Lucidity, the awareness of being in a dream, adds another powerful layer to this process. It grants you the chance to not just rewrite the script, but to become an active director in the dream itself. Instead of being a passive victim of the narrative, you gain the agency to turn and look, to breathe deeply, to consciously change the script as it unfolds. When you realize you are dreaming, the entire dynamic shifts. The dream is no longer happening asterisk to asterisk you. You are happening asterisk within asterisk the dream. Imagine you become lucid in the midst of a frightening chase. Suddenly, you have options. You can stop running. You can turn and face whatever is pursuing you. You can soften the monsters that haunt your dreamscape simply by asking their names, by imagining their fearsome faces changing into something familiar, or even by calmly and firmly stating, "This is my dream. I am safe here." This simple assertion of control can be profoundly transformative. From a neurological perspective, when you become lucid, you are reactivating your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for rational thought and self-awareness. This conscious awareness helps to quiet the amygdala's primal alarm system, which is often in overdrive during a nightmare. The fear response begins to subside as your higher-level cognitive functions come back online. Even a simple act, like choosing to fly away from the scene, is a powerful declaration of your restored control, reminding your dreaming mind that you are the one in charge. Of course, it's crucial to acknowledge that if nightmares are frequent, intensely distressing, or clearly linked to past trauma, seeking professional support is essential. Therapies like imagery rehearsal are often most effective when guided by a trained professional who can provide a safe and supportive space for healing. Science fully supports a compassionate and structured approach to working with trauma-related nightmares. There is no need to face these shadows alone. Let's bring this into the present moment. Imagine tonight, you find yourself in a familiar dream. A long, dim corridor stretches before you. At the far end, by a door that remains unopened, a shape stands. It's tall, its form undefined, more of a feeling than a distinct figure. A familiar sense of unease begins to creep in. But then, something shifts. A gentle wave of awareness washes over you. You realize, I am dreaming. In that moment of lucidity, you remember your choices. You are not powerless. First, you can simply breathe. You consciously take a slow, deep breath, feeling the air fill your lungs, grounding yourself within the dream. Next, you can notice the sensations around you. What does the floor feel like beneath your feet? Is the air cool or warm? This sensory focus further solidifies your lucid awareness. You can choose to speak with kindness, to engage with the unknown not as a threat, but as a part of yourself that needs to be heard. You can alter the scene, changing the lighting, the setting, or the figure itself. And you always hold the ultimate choice. You can wake yourself up if you wish. You decide to stay. You turn toward the figure, your posture open and non-confrontational, your palms facing forward in a gesture of peace. As you do, you notice the sharp edges of the shadow soften, its form wavering like smoke. With a calm voice, you ask, "What do you need?" A profound silence follows your question. Then, the corridor begins to brighten, not from any visible source, but as if the answer itself were made of pure light, illuminating the space between you and the shadow. He turns to face the shadow. You reach for the handle, and a cool breath slips through the crack. Why do dreams feel so real? It's because your brain is, fundamentally, a prediction engine. All day long, it's constantly guessing what the sensory information it receives actually means. A flash of red in your peripheral vision could be a car, a ball, or a flower. The brain makes its best guess, and then updates that guess as more information comes in. It's a continuous loop of prediction and correction. Now, when you fall asleep, the brain doesn't just shut down. It runs the very same machinery, but with one major difference. There's far less constraint from the outside world. Your eyes are closed. Your ears are mostly tuned out. So, what does this prediction engine do? It starts generating its own world. It builds a simulation, a best-guess reality, pieced together from your memories, your emotions, and your expectations from the day. This is the secret behind the power of intention in a dream. What you expect to happen often does. The dream world is a landscape painted with the brush of your own mind. If you expect a monster behind the door, the brain, with its predictive power, is more than happy to generate one for you. If you expect a friend, they might just appear. The world is built from the blueprint of your thoughts. This brings us to a common misconception about lucid dreaming: control. Many people think control in a dream is like being a programmer, writing code to build a world from scratch. But it's not like that at all. A better analogy is sailing. You don't control the wind or the sea, but you can work with them. You set a course, adjust your sails, and gently guide your vessel. In a lucid dream, you set your course with gentle thoughts and intentions, not with forceful commands. One of the challenges of lucid dreaming is maintaining stability. The dream can feel like it's fading or becoming blurry. The key is to re-engage your senses, even the dream versions of them. A classic technique is to rub your hands together. Feel the friction, the warmth, the texture of your skin. This simple action sends a strong signal to your brain, grounding you in the dreamed sensory reality. You can also anchor your vision. Instead of just glancing around, look closely at something. Focus on the intricate texture of a leaf, the pattern on a carpet, or the grain of wood on a wall. By demanding more detail from the dream, you encourage your brain to render it more clearly, solidifying the entire scene. And don't forget your hearing. Speak out loud. Announce what you see, or simply state your intention. The dream is becoming clearer now. The act of speaking and hearing your own voice can be a powerful anchor. But what if, despite your best efforts, the scene begins to dissolve? There's a wonderful, almost counterintuitive technique for this. Instead of fighting the fade, embrace it. Start spinning in place, right there in the dream. As you spin, declare your intention. Something like, "Take me where I need to go," or "Show me something new." Very often, as your spinning slows, the old, fading scene will be gone, replaced by a fresh, stable new one, ready for you to explore. Remember, the dream brain responds better to narrative cues than to direct commands. Think of it like interacting with a masterful storyteller. You don't shout orders at them, you provide prompts. Instead of commanding, create a garden. Try a softer nudge. Think to yourself, "When I open this door, I will find a quiet garden waiting for me." Frame your intentions as discoveries. "I wonder what's around that corner." Or ask open-ended questions like, "Show me what creativity looks like." This approach invites the dream to unfold, to collaborate with you in the act of creation. So, let's return to tonight's corridor. You're lucid. The scene is stable. You can feel the distinct, rough grain of the wooden wall sharpens under your fingertips as you trace a line. Each breath you take seems to steady the air, making the light and shadows more defined. You decide you want to find a place of learning, a library perhaps. You see a door ahead. Your intention is set, not as a demand, but as a quiet hope. You reach for the brass knob, its cool, smooth surface, a stark contrast to the rough wood. You turn it slowly, deliberately, like winding a delicate music box. There's a soft, satisfying click as the latch releases. The threshold of the door begins to shimmer, not with light, but with a strange, liquid-like distortion. As you push it open, the world beyond the door tilts at an impossible angle. For a fleeting moment, the illusion breaks, and you can almost see the pixels, the raw data of the dream itself, before it coalesces into a new reality. And in these few precious seconds, as the new world forms, you have to decide what comes next. On some crossings, you may wake into a body that will not move. It is a peculiar sensation, one of stillness captured between worlds. This is sleep paralysis. It happens when the brain systems that wisely paralyze most of your muscles during REM sleep, protecting you from acting out your dreams, linger for a moment as your awareness returns. Your mind is awake, but your body is still resting in the quiet harbor of sleep. This state can sometimes come with vivid imagery, a sense of a presence in the room, the sound of footsteps, or a feeling of pressure on your chest. These are not real threats. They are illusions. The brain's creative and sometimes dramatic attempt to explain why the body is still, while the room is quiet and the mind is awake. It's your mind trying to fill in the blanks with the language of dreams. If you find yourself in this state, the most important thing to remember is that it is temporary. It usually lasts only for a few seconds, perhaps up to a minute, though it can feel much longer. Crucially, know that it is not dangerous. It's a natural, albeit sometimes unsettling glitch in the process of waking up. The key is not to fight it, but to gently guide yourself out of it. Begin by focusing on your breath. Breathe slowly and deliberately. Feel the air enter your lungs, and then, most importantly, focus on the long, slow exhalation. This calms the nervous system and reasserts your control. While you are breathing, try to move a small muscle. It could be a fingertip, a toe, or even your tongue. This small, intentional movement can act like a key, unlocking the paralysis and reminding your brain to reconnect with your body. Focus all your intent on wiggling that single digit. Often, this is enough to break the spell and restore full movement. If you're feeling adventurous, you can even try to reframe the entire experience. See the sensations not as a threat, but as a launchpad for a lucid dream. Instead of fear, meet the imagery with curiosity. Allow the strange shapes and sounds to grow into a scene you choose, taking control of the dream as it forms. Or, simply continue to ride the gentle waves of your breath until movement naturally returns to your limbs. There are also practical steps you can take to reduce the frequency of these episodes. Good sleep hygiene is your first and best defense. This means maintaining regular sleep hours, even on weekends. Going to bed and waking up at roughly the same time helps to regulate your body's internal clock. Be mindful of stimulants like caffeine, especially in the late afternoon and evening. Creating a gentle wind-down routine can also signal to your body that it's time for rest. This could be reading a book, taking a warm bath, or listening to calm music. If sleep paralysis becomes frequent or causes you significant distress, it's always a good idea to seek professional advice. A doctor or sleep specialist can help you explore other potential causes and solutions. In tonight's transition, your dream door opens to a moonlit room that looks just like your own bedroom. The air is thick with a profound and heavy quiet. In the corner of your vision, you perceive something, an almost shape, watching without malice, simply existing. You don't feel fear. Instead, you remember what this is. A bridge between systems. A momentary pause between the world of dreams and the world of waking. You feel the steady rhythm of your own breath, and you recognize it as your anchor, your rope across this brief, still chasm. You are safe. You are simply in transition. Footsteps where nothing stands draw closer, very, very slowly, each one a soft echo in the stillness. Have you ever woken from a dream that felt like an eternity, only to realize a few minutes have passed? Or perhaps a fleeting dream that seemed to hold a lifetime of experience? The question of how time behaves within our dreams has fascinated thinkers for centuries. Is it a dilated, fantastical realm where seconds stretch into hours, or does it follow a rhythm surprisingly familiar to our waking lives? Scientific inquiry has begun to illuminate this shadowy corner of our minds. Researchers turn to lucid dreamers, individuals who are aware they are dreaming and can sometimes exert control over the dream narrative. During the rapid eye movement, or REM, stage of sleep, these dreamers were given specific tasks. They were asked to perform actions with known durations, simple things like counting to 10 or performing a sequence of short, familiar movements. To mark the passage of time for the observers outside, they would signal the start and end of each task using a prearranged pattern of eye movements, a silent communication from one state of consciousness to another. The results were remarkable. On average, the time it took to complete these tasks within the dream mirrored the time it would take in the waking world quite closely. There wasn't a dramatic compression or expansion of time. No epic fantasy lived out in the span of a few seconds. However, there were subtle variations. Some tasks ran slightly slower in the dream state. Researchers theorized this might be due to the sheer cognitive load of dreaming. While counting, the dreamer's mind is also simultaneously generating the vivid, multisensory world around them, a form of high-level multitasking that might gently slow the pace of a focused action. So, while the clock inside the dream doesn't tick to an entirely alien beat, it does have its own unique, slightly relaxed cadence. This discovery opens a door not just to understanding, but to opportunity. If the timing of actions in a dream is relatively stable and predictable, then the dream world can become a practice ground, a high-fidelity simulator for refining real-world skills. Think of a musician, asleep in their bed, but in their dream, they are rehearsing complex fingerings on a piano. Their fingers don't physically move, but the neural networks responsible for that motor skill are firing. The brain is practicing the sequence, strengthening the pathways. Similarly, an athlete can use lucid dreams to visualize their performance with an unparalleled richness of sensory detail. They can feel the texture of the ball, hear the roar of the crowd, and experience the physical sensations of movement, all while their body remains perfectly still. A public speaker can softly run through their lines, not just reciting them, but experiencing the feeling of being on stage. Building confidence in a safe, internal environment. Skill refinement in a dream isn't magic. It is rehearsal. The body may be at rest, but the intricate machinery of the mind, the networks for motor planning, imagery, and language are humming along, actively working and learning. Let's step into this world for a moment. Imagine you are dreaming. You become lucid, aware of the delicate unreality of the scene. Before you hangs a clock, smooth and featureless, with no numbers to mark the hours. It is mounted above a heavy wooden door that leads to a garden you can almost smell. You know what you must do. We've asked you, once more, to count. You begin, your voice a whisper in the dreamscape. 1. You look down at your hands, watching your fingers, anchoring yourself to this moment, to this task. The researchers in the lab, miles and a world away, observe the flicker of your eyes under closed lids, marking the beat. 2. 3. 4. ... Each number is a steady rhythm, a pulse you impose upon the dream. As you continue the count, the world responds. 5. 6. 7. The air thickens with anticipation. You focus on the task, on the feeling of each second passing, measured and deliberate. 8. 9. Double quotes. At the count of 10, a soft internal light begins to emanate from the garden door. It glows with a gentle warmth, outlining its frame against the dream's twilight. The light holds steady as you begin the second part of the task, counting back down. 10, 9, 8. With each descending number, the light seems to brighten, to pulse in time with your internal metronome. 7. 6. 5. ... You watch the lock on the door. 4. 3. 2. As you reach the final count, at the precise moment you think 1, the latch on the door unhooks itself with a soft click. The moment hangs there, suspended like a held breath, its duration perfectly matching the seconds you so carefully traced in the quiet dark of your own mind. On the count of 10, the truth about time will reveal itself. The dreaming brain possesses a remarkable capacity for connecting distant, seemingly unrelated ideas. During sleep, and especially in the REM state where most dreaming occurs, the prefrontal cortex, the brain's logical editor and chief executive, takes a back seat. Its usual top-down control is muted. This quieting of our internal critic allows for a more associative, fluid style of thinking. It's as if the rigid conductor of an orchestra has left the stage, and the musicians are free to improvise, creating novel harmonies and unexpected symphonies of thought. This is the neurochemical basis for the common experience of waking up with odd, but surprisingly useful insights. Problems that seemed intractable the day before suddenly have a clear, albeit unconventional, solution. This phenomenon is often called the incubation of solutions, where the subconscious mind works tirelessly on a problem while our conscious mind rests. Lucid dreaming offers a unique opportunity to consciously participate in this creative process. When you become aware that you are dreaming, you gain the ability to gently nudge this incredible orchestra of the mind. You are no longer just a passive audience member. You can step onto the stage. You can ask the dream a direct question, invite a melody to emerge from the silence, or transform a complex problem into a symbolic landscape that you can physically explore. Imagine walking through a forest where each tree represents a different facet of a challenge, or sailing on a sea where the currents guide you toward an answer. Lucidity provides a direct interface with the deep, creative machinery of your own mind. It's a chance to collaborate with the most innovative part of yourself. To harness this power, you can prime your mind before sleep. The key is to be gentle. Instead of demanding a specific, perfect answer, which can create pressure and inhibit the free flow of ideas, pose a soft, open-ended prompt. Think of it as leaving a note for your dreaming self. You might whisper to your pillow, show me a new angle on this design, or ask, what metaphor truly fits this feeling I'm trying to express? Frame it as an invitation, not a command. The dreaming brain responds better to whispers than to shouts. By setting a gentle intention, you trust the process, allowing the vast, associative network of your mind to do what it does best: connect, combine, and create in ways that your waking consciousness simply cannot. Now, you find yourself lucid, standing before a door in the landscape of your dream. You open it and step into a garden bathed in twilight. Strange, beautiful lanterns hang from unseen branches, swaying gently to a rhythm you almost recognize, like a half-remembered song from your childhood. The leaves on the trees tremble, not from wind, but as if they are hearing music that is just beyond your own range of hearing. You begin to walk along a winding path made of smooth, gray stones. As you look down, you notice the stones are arranged in a specific pattern, spelling out a phrase: combine the unlikely. A smile touches your lips. This is the garden's wisdom. You find a seat by a tranquil pool of water. It's not just water. It's a pool of memory. Gazing into its depth, you see fleeting images and feelings from your life swirling together. You don't try to grasp them. You simply sit. You listen. You wait. And then a tune arrives. It drifts into your awareness, seemingly from nowhere. It's built from familiar notes, fragments of melodies you've heard before, but they are arranged in a new, captivating order. You begin to hum it softly, and as you do, the surface of the water brightens, shimmering with a soft, internal light, reflecting your own act of creation back at you. When you wake, you will make an effort to write down what remains of this experience. Perhaps you'll capture the melody, the core metaphor of the garden, or just a few fragmented phrases from the stone path. Not all the details will carry over from the dream world to the waking one, and that is perfectly okay. The goal isn't perfect transcription. Creativity is a practice, a relationship you cultivate with your inner world, not a promise of a finished product every time. Some nights, the well will be deep. Other nights, it may seem dry. But tonight, in this moment, the garden is generous, offering its gifts freely. You are a grateful guest. At the edge of the song you just discovered, a problem you thought you had left behind forever begins, quietly and gracefully, to solve itself. Have you ever wondered if you could meet someone inside a dream? The idea is captivating. Two minds, drifting in the vast ocean of sleep, finding each other in a shared, co-created world. It's a recurring theme in stories and personal anecdotes, the myth of the shared dream. People wake up convinced they visited the same place, had the same conversation, all while miles apart. But as romantic as the notion is, science has yet to find any reliable evidence of this phenomenon. True shared dreaming, where two individuals consciously interact within a single unified dreamscape, remains in the realm of fiction. What we often mistake for shared dreams can usually be traced back to other, more grounded explanations. Sometimes it's pure coincidence. Two people who know each other well might dream about similar topics simply because they share common experiences, concerns, or conversations from their waking lives. The day's residue seeps into both their minds, creating parallel but separate dream narratives. Other times, the power of suggestion is at play. If you tell someone, "Let's try to meet in a dream tonight," you've already planted a seed. Your mind and theirs may then construct a dream that feels like a shared experience. Even if it wasn't, then there's the fallibility of memory. When two people discuss their dreams after waking, their recollections can unintentionally merge. As one person tells their story, the other might think, "Oh yes, I remember that part too," when in reality, their brain is subtly rewriting its own memory to align with their friend's account. Our memories of dreams are notoriously fragile and easily influenced. The act of sharing them can inadvertently create a sense of a shared experience that never actually occurred. So, while we may not be able to truly merge our dream worlds, there is another fascinating way we can synchronize them. We can't build a bridge between two minds, but we can send them the same postcard and see what stories they each create. In controlled laboratory settings, scientists have explored this idea of dream synchronization. The method involves delivering identical external stimuli to multiple sleepers simultaneously and observing how each individual mind incorporates that cue into its own unique dream narrative. Imagine two lucid dreamers, asleep in separate rooms but connected to the same system. During their REM sleep, the stage where most vivid dreaming occurs, a researcher might send a specific signal, a series of gentle light pulses, a soft auditory tone, or a subtle vibration. The goal isn't to force them into the same dream, but to give their dreaming brains the same creative prompt. The results are consistently fascinating. If, for instance, the cue is a sequence of soft, chiming bells, one dreamer might report hearing a distant church, its bells ringing out over a misty valley. The other might dream of an ice cream truck, its familiar jingle echoing down a suburban street. Both dreams incorporated the sound, but the context, the characters, and the emotional tone were entirely different. The brain acts as a deeply personal storyteller. It takes the raw material of a sensory input and weaves it into a narrative that is colored by the individual as memories, emotions, and personal symbolism. Even when given the exact same prompt, each dream writes its own script, revealing the unique architecture of the mind that created it. This isn't a failure to connect. It's a beautiful demonstration of individual creativity. Tonight, we witness this principle in action. In two neighboring sleep labs, separated by a pane of soundproof glass, two participants are settling into sleep. Each wears a specially designed mask that can deliver gentle light patterns directly to their closed eyelids. As they drift deeper into REM sleep, their minds begin to paint their own internal landscapes. At a precisely coordinated moment, our system sends a signal. A brief, rhythmic sequence of red light flashes inside both masks. The stimulus is identical in timing, color, and intensity for both sleepers. In the room on the left, the flashing red light is woven into a dramatic coastal scene. The dreamer finds themselves standing on a jagged cliff, waves crashing below. The red light has become a powerful lighthouse beacon, sweeping across a dark, stormy sea, a warning to distant ships. In the room on the right, the same red flashes are transformed into something far more delicate. The dreamer is walking through a warm, dusky forest. The lights have become a cluster of fireflies, blinking their silent, magical signals in the twilight air. A lighthouse on a rocky shore, a string of fireflies in a forest, two vastly different worlds, born from the very same spark. But here's where the synchronization truly begins. Both dreamers have been trained in the art of lucid dreaming. They know how to recognize the strangeness of the dream state and become aware that they are dreaming. The red light was not just a narrative element. It was their prearranged cue for lucidity. In the dream of the lighthouse, the dreamer looks at their hands, a classic reality check, and feels the surge of awareness. They are dreaming. Simultaneously, in the forest of fireflies, the other dreamer does the same. They too breathe into the conscious control of their dream. At this exact moment, they perform the second part of their task. They move their eyes in a specific, agreed-upon pattern. Left, right, left. On the monitors outside their rooms, two parallel lines of data from the electro-occulogram sensors leap in perfect unison. The sharp, deliberate eye movements cut through the gentle, rolling waves of REM sleep data. On the screen, it looks like two birds taking flight from the same branch at the same instant. We cannot fuse their worlds. We cannot make the lighthouse keeper shake hands with the person watching fireflies. But we can bridge the divide with a signal. We can time a greeting, a silent acknowledgement across the void of sleep, proving that while our inner worlds remain private, we are not entirely alone in the night. Two sleepers, in two separate dreams, turn their heads at the same moment, their gazes meeting not in a shared world, but across the shared language of science. What might tomorrow bring for the world of dream engineering? Imagine a future with closed-loop systems, devices so sophisticated they don't just detect their REM stage of sleep, but the specific brain patterns linked to the very content of your dreams. Picture these systems delivering subtle, perfectly timed cues, a gentle sound, a soft light, a slight vibration, designed to steer your dream narrative gently without ever waking you up. Think of algorithms that learn your personal dream signs, your unique tells that lucidity is just around the corner, and timing their prompts for that perfect moment of breakthrough. Of course, as we venture into this new territory, strong ethical guardrails will be absolutely essential. We must fiercely protect privacy, ensure informed consent, and always respect the profound sanctity of our inner world. This isn't a landscape to be colonized, but a new frontier of the self to be explored with reverence. The research is already pointing towards fascinating possibilities. Scientists are exploring a technique called targeted memory reactivation. This involves, for example, playing a subtle sound during non-REM sleep that was linked to a task you learned during the day. The goal? To strengthen that specific memory, to literally consolidate learning while you sleep. Others are testing olfactory cues, introducing specific scents during sleep, to see if they can shape the emotional tone of our dreams, perhaps nudging them towards more positive or peaceful experiences. In carefully controlled studies, researchers are also probing how non-invasive brain stimulation, using gentle electrical or magnetic fields, might influence our level of awareness during REM sleep, potentially making lucidity more accessible. It's crucial to remember that this is a very young field. The best approach is one that blends boundless curiosity with profound caution. We are charting a map of consciousness itself, and every step must be taken with care. But amidst all this exciting technological advancement, a quieter, more internal future for dream engineering is also incredibly valuable. This is a future where we use the simplest, most timeless tools available to us. A dream journal kept by the bedside, the power of setting a clear intention before we fall asleep, and the mindful practice of reality testing throughout our day. This path is about cultivating a deep and respectful relationship with our dreams, seeing them not as a problem to be solved or a program to be hacked, but as a wise and mysterious part of ourselves to be listened to. Perhaps in the end, the most powerful technology for exploring our dreams is simply our own focused, gentle attention. It costs nothing, requires no updates, and its potential is limitless. Imagine you are back in your dream garden. In the center, you find a large, smooth tablet of stone. As you get closer, you see a question has been carved into its surface. The letters are ancient and deep. The question reads, "What happens to a dream when someone remembers it?" You reach out and trace the letters with your fingertips. As you do, a soft humming sensation travels up your arm, a gentle vibration that seems to thrum with a life of its own. It feels as if the question itself holds an answer, but it's not an answer you're meant to think or say. It's an answer you're meant to feel, to understand on a level deeper than language. When you wake up, the world slowly returns to focus. The sounds of the morning, the light filtering through your window. But you feel a lingering echo from the dream world. It's a strange and quiet sensation, as if, from the other side of sleep, something from your dream is still looking back at you, holding your gaze even now in the waking world. We have walked the corridor of the mind, opened the door to the unknown, faced the shadows that dwell within, counted the seconds in dream time, and listened for melodies on the edge of sleep. Now we arrive at our last, and perhaps softest, mystery. Who is the dreamer? Who is the I that experiences these worlds we build each night? Neuroscience offers a fascinating perspective. It doesn't point to a single tiny pilot in our brain's control room. Instead, it points to vast, interconnected networks. There's the default mode network, a sprawling system that busily stitches together our sense of self when our mind is at rest, weaving our past, present, and future into a coherent story. Then there's the salience network, the brain's discerning curator, which decides what stands out, what matters, and what fades into the background of our awareness. And of course, the sensory cortices, the masterful artists that paint the vibrant scenes of our dreams, the feel of cool grass, the scent of rain, the hue of a forgotten sunset. From this viewpoint, the I isn't a fixed entity. It is a model, a brilliant and useful construct that the brain creates. It's flexible, adaptable, and constantly being updated. This model allows us to navigate our waking world, but in the dream world, its seams can become visible. Lucidity, the awareness of dreaming while dreaming, offers a unique opportunity to observe this model in action. It's like being given backstage access to the theater of your own mind. You can stand in the wings and watch the self being constructed. In a lucid dream, you can try an experiment. You can ask the dream itself, "Show me the self." The results can be profound and surprising. The dream might present you with a mirror reflecting a face you don't quite recognize. It might conjure a stranger who feels uncannily familiar, or a child who is you but not you. Sometimes it won't show a person at all, but a vast, open sky or a single perfect leaf. In each of these forms, there lies a deep truth. The self is a story. It's a narrative shaped by the currents of memory, by our deepest needs and our quietest hopes. Realizing this doesn't diminish you or make you any less real. On the contrary, it invites a profound sense of gentleness and self-compassion. If the self is constructed, it means it is not set in stone. It can be rebuilt. It can be made kinder, more open, more forgiving, more curious. The architect is you. Imagine in tonight's dream, you find yourself in a familiar garden. Beneath the sprawling branches of the oldest tree, a mirror leans against the trunk, its surface shimmering like water. You approach it, your curiosity piqued. As you gaze into its depths, you don't see your own face staring back. Instead, you see a cascade of moments. You see flashes of laughter shared with a friend long ago. You see the flutter of pages being turned in a beloved book. You see the dim glow of streetlights as you crossed a city street at dusk, lost in thought. You see all the times you felt lost and all the times you were found, not by others, but by yourself. The surface of the mirror ripples, disturbed by an unseen force. From its silvery depths, a figure begins to emerge, stepping forward out of the reflection and into the dream garden with you. They look like you, yet they are not you. There's a subtle difference in the eyes, a wisdom that feels both ancient and brand new. They smile, and in that smile, you recognize a memory you haven't had yet, a joyful moment waiting for you in your future. You stand there, perfectly still, breathing. You are present in two ways, at once aware of your sleeping body and fully alive in this dreamed reality. A sense of peace settles over you, a quiet recognition. You lift your eyes from the figure and look past them, deeper into the dream. And there, in the space just beyond perception, you meet the one who dreamed you. Welcome back. For a long time, morning was just a horizon you crossed without ever really noticing. A simple transition from dark to light. But through this journey, you've learned to watch the crossing. You've sat with the night and learned its secrets. You learned the intricate architecture of sleep, rode the bright, powerful currents of REM, and felt the deep chemistry that paints our dreams with such vivid color. You've even practiced the delicate art of gentle control within that world. You now speak a new language, the language of eye movements, a dialect shared with researchers who map the landscape of the mind. You faced a shadow in the depths of your own subconscious, and with courage and curiosity, you turned it into a source of light. You asked your dreaming brain for a spark of creativity, for a moment of truth, and it answered. You've discovered that lucid dreaming isn't an escape from reality. It's an invitation to notice more of it. It's a tool that can enrich your sleep when used with care, and it can soften the edges of your waking life with profound insight. It has taught you that awareness can blossom even in the deepest, quietest hours of the night, and that your own curiosity is a lamp you can carry into every hidden room of your mind. Now, as the first light of dawn begins to filter through, you feel yourself waking. The dream world recedes, but its lessons remain. You reach for your journal, your hand moving with a newfound purpose, and you write down a few lines, a fragment of a dream, a feeling, a question. You thank the night for its teachings, for the space it gave you to explore. You stretch your body, feeling the life return to your limbs, a gentle, pleasant ache of a journey completed. In the lab of your mind, the soft red light that guided you begins to dim. The electrodes, those symbolic connections to the sleep world, are removed with a faint whisper. You listen. The city outside is still hushed, as if it too was listening to your story unfold. As you stand at the threshold of a new day, think about this series we've traveled through together. Think about the concepts we've unraveled, from the first stages of sleep to the deepest mysteries of the dreaming brain. If this journey has steadied your breath, even for a moment, if it has sparked a sense of wonder about the universe within you, if it has taught you something new that you can carry forward, then I invite you to subscribe to Hypnosphere. We're not finished exploring. Together, we'll continue to investigate the universe, the brain, the body, the cosmos, all at the gentle pace of your own heartbeat, and always in the calm, reassuring tone of a lullaby. There are so many more corridors ahead, so many more doors waiting to be opened. For now, as you prepare to step fully into the day, close your eyes one last time. Carry this one thought with you. You are the dreamer, and you are awake. You hold both worlds within you. And just as you turn away from the window of your mind, you catch a final glimpse in the mirror. Its surface ripples once, a gentle, silent promise of another peaceful night to come, another journey waiting for you. Thank you for joining me. Sleep well and dream with intention.